my screen?
I can see your screen. Yep, all good now.
Okay,
Yep,
I'll put it in presentation mode then.
yep,
All right, you see the notes view?
yep.
Is that what it is? All right, so
Mm.
I'll just swap it to the actual view. Can you see the actual view?
Yes, correct.
All right, I think we should get started because we are already 3 minutes past. I'm expecting a few more people to join as we go through the session. So yeah, let's get started. Hello, everyone. Thanks for making time to join this session today. Really appreciate it. Today, I'm going to give you a quick overview of UiPath Business Platform and then cover some interesting topics around the automation of HR function. We will quickly review a honeycomb model. You'll shortly see what that is, and we will walk through the main areas of automation in HR and the benefits derived, as well as a couple of customer use cases that gives us more practical view of use of automation. But first, let's do some basic things, basic challenges that we face, and the challenges of productivity, and how UiPath Business Automation Platform addresses those challenges of of augmenting the productivity, and then we'll get into the HR functions. Yep. So one of the primary problems that we solve with our automation platform is the problem of productivity. We increase the productivity of the business user and the business as a whole. And what we know is that despite of the enhancements and innovations and advancements in technology over the last 4 decades, productivity hasn't really risen at the same rate as you would expect. In fact, in the last decade, productivity has in fact flatlined, as you can see from the chart. And one of the reasons for that is the explosion of number of applications that we have in today's organizations. On one side, we still have legacy applications or those green screens. We have applications in the cloud. We have specialized SaaS applications, and we also have on-premise local applications. Now, we need all those applications to execute the processes across the organization. These applications were added to the organization to help us. But what has that resulted in is a fragmented technology landscape within an organization. These applications don't really talk to each other very well. And you tend to work not just on one application as part of the process, but multiple. And often because they don't talk to each other very well, what that results is into a linkage burden, as we call it. And this linkage burden really drags down productivity. It is very inefficient. It is frustrating for people to do it. It is frustrating for the enterprise. It is frustrating for the customers who expect responses faster than they are normally delivered. That is because people are busy copy pasting stuff from, say, one application into another. They're busy doing lookups into some systems. They're busy combining data sources from different applications, busy logging to an application such as SAP or Oracle or Workday or ServiceNow, searching for accounts, searching for information, extracting that information out, and then formatting a response to be sent back to the customer as part of servicing the incoming request. And this is what drags down productivity because of the linkages that the humans have to create between the applications that are all around us. And these are the problems you solve with UiPath platform. At the core of our platform is UI automation capability, often referred to as RPA. We have the robot to do the linkage work, the work that otherwise be done by people, where they can see the screen, they can make decisions, they can interact with applications or underlying systems just like you and I can do. Now, UiPath has got 15 years experience in this domain, so you can rely on UiPath to do this work for you. And that automation platform also sits across your application stack. Your 175 plus or more applications that you might have, and the new applications that are going to be coming in future. And this is how it works. Robots can take a wide number of tasks or processes. Our business automation platform forms an automation layer on top of your application landscape. So robot sort of jumps from one application to another. It can read data from Excel and create records in Workday. It can read your emails in your Outlook and can create accounts in Salesforce or search information in Salesforce or process those quotation requests that are coming in and all sorts of things. So essentially what we're looking at, what we're talking about here is the robot connecting your applications, creating the linkages between the applications, either through UI automation or API automation. You can use UI automation where it makes sense, and you can use API automation where it makes sense. And you can also combine UI automation and API automation in the same robotic process automation. Now, I'm going to just quickly show you a demo of RPA so that you get better understanding of how a robot works and how it hops across applications. In this case, what we have is an email that is coming into our mailbox, and that email has an attachment, which is a PDF. Now, this PDF file contains timesheets information. It contains information for a particular person for 2 weeks. And what normally would happen is a human or a person would read that information, open that email, open that PDF, read that information, and manually create records into SAP system. Now, this is a standard manual repetitive work. This can easily be handed over to robot, and this is what this demo is about. So I'm just going to run this demo video and narrate it to you as we go. Oops, it's running. Okay, it's running now, I think. Yeah, so we have an email coming in this timesheets folder, and there is the PDF. So we are opening the PDF. We are looking at the timesheet PDF. So you can see there are two records here. These two records need to be inputted in the SAP system. Now, after the email is processed, it will be moved from timesheets folder to the processed email folder. Yep. So now we are starting the robot. So what you see in front of you is UiPath Orchestrator, from where we can manually trigger automation. And we are doing it just for this demo purposes. In real life, it will be scheduled in Orchestrator. So now you can see the robot is running. It's in pending status, which means it's doing some activity in the background. It is reading that email. It is opening the PDF attachment. It using machine learning models is extracting information from those PDFs. And you can see the status also in UiPath Assistant. So that little box you see in front of you is called UiPath Assistant, which sits on user's desktop. And from there as well, you can trigger your robots, and you can see the status as well. It depends on how you design it. But in this demo, we just wanted to quickly show you UiPath Assistant that sits on your desktop and helps you trigger those automations. Yep. So now shortly you will see that the robot has gone into suspended state in the back, which means the robot needs some sort of human confirmation or validation, and robot has created an action that we can see in UiPath Action Center. Now we have created this action again only for demo purposes. It's not always required for robot to hand or control to humans, but just to demonstrate in certain situations you might need to do it. And that's what you're seeing. So a person is looking at the task assigned to them in their Action Center mailbox, and they're validating the data that robot has extracted, whether it's the work center code, or it's the name or the staff number. It's just performing some simple validations, and if required, you can straight away do the corrections here as well. And once all these validations are done, corrections are done, you can say like, all right, everything is fine here. I'm happy with what robot has done here. So I'm going to continue, save it, and the control will then go back to the robot. So robot then can continue to input that data it has extracted into the third-party system. In this case, it's going to be SAP system. So what you see in front of you is a SAP logon screen. So robot has opened this application. It is keying in the username, password, and it has logged onto the application. Now it's going to go to the appropriate data entry profile, where it will start creating those timesheets record as you're seeing on the screen. Now, since there are two timesheet records in the incoming PDF, robot is expected to create those two records in the SAP system. And following that record creation, robot is going to close all the windows and it is going to log out of the system. So all this manual repetitive standard job, which a person would normally doing for like, a numerous number of records can now be handed over to robots so that person can have extra capacity to deal with higher value work. So as you can see, the robot is now logging off. It has logged off, and that's the pretty much the end of the demo. So I'm going to pause there. Yep. All right. Sorry, guys. All right. Okay. So at this point in time, do you have any questions? You can just speak up. John, are you there? Sorry, I can't see the chat window here.
Yes, I'm here. So far, no question in the chat window. Yeah,
All right, great. Thanks for that, John.
no worries.
So I'll proceed then. So going on now, now you had a look at that human emulation demo or the RPA demo. Now you take that human emulation or RPA capability and add it to our end-to-end platform. And what you can do then is to maximize the value of automations across your enterprise. The idea here is to start your journey. Maybe you can start small, but eventually scale up to reach the level of being a fully automated enterprise. And that's what is the core purpose of UiPath's business automation platform. Now, you see, it all started with UiPath, with UI automation, as you saw earlier, with attended robots and unattended robots. But now what we have is a platform that spans the whole automation lifecycle, and it is comprehensive in scope. Now, I'm not going to go through each and every of these capabilities that you see in front of you, which are logically categorized into discover capabilities, build capabilities, managing automations capabilities, running those automations, and engaging humans as and when required. Now, there's heaps of capabilities and features. It's power-packed business automation platform, but I'm just flashing this in front of you to remind you that as part of our UiPath community virtual events, we have sessions planned that will deep dive into these individual areas. Like we have one session on task capture plan and coming up soon. We have one session planned for document understanding or intelligent document processing coming soon. So I would recommend you visit the UiPath community page and have a look at all the events that are listed there, and the ones that you think are of interest to you and will bring you most value in your area of work. You can attend those deep dive sessions, and there's plenty to learn there. Yep. So now, what are we most focused on when we are thinking automation? We are looking at achieving higher employee retention, increased employee engagement, and the creation of total employee experience that leads to better business focus. We are seeking higher employee retention through automation so that we can respond faster to the incoming requests. We want people to have easy access to the information they're looking for. For example, an employee wants some information from HR. It can just like, you have to make that easy for that employee to get to that information. You want to increase that employee engagement. And once you're handing over the standard repetitive manual jobs to a robot, what that gives you is that added capacity as an HR professional, an added capacity which will help you focus on relationship building and partnering with businesses and doing some more meaningful business focused work so as to get those business KPIs and those outcomes you're looking for. And moreover, the ability to generate insightful people metrics as and when they're needed also enhance your decision making. Now let's look at automation across all departments. What you see in front of you is a honeycomb model. Honeycomb model, as you can see on the screen, what the model helps us with is to look at automations at a larger scale at organizational level rather than a particular business area. More specifically, through this model, we can see the various areas of interest of our automation in different business units. When it comes to HR or people operations, we'll focus on talent acquisition, HR operations, employee experience, and total rewards. All the blue bits are on the left-hand side of the honeycomb model. Now, that's the topic of today, and that's what we're going to get into shortly. And let's look at the first area of HR, which is talent acquisition. The number one use case of interest here is screening of incoming CVs. The initial screening of CVs can be enhanced through automation, while deep analysis may still rely on professional judgment of the recruiters. Using machine learning models, bot can filter through the CVs based on some predefined criteria which is set by talent acquisition professionals. And the bot that can create a short list of CVs. Now, it is very important to mention here that the bot is not selecting the candidates, but is deciding with reasonable degree of confidence which of the incoming CVs are most suitable for the role. The second area of automation that we will look at is HR operations. The processes in this space cover the employee life cycle in the company, starting with onboarding, moving to contractual updates, lead management, offboarding, etc., etc. Now, all of these processes are not only high in volume, but are also repetitive and standard. Therefore, HR ops is a great place to look for automation potential. In the employee relations space, chatbots can provide answers to most frequently asked questions. Uh, that are usually received from the employees, or they can even execute a task by using a bot. For instance, if an employee has some problem with the laptop and they need IT assistance, the bot can help them raise the service ticket with the IT team. When it comes to total rewards, robots can handle different processes in the benefits area, such as enrollment of employees to benefits programs, sending different customized reminders, creating different source of recurring reporting that needs to be created on monthly basis. So let's look at HR operations. Let's drill further into HR operations where the benefits can be speed of delivery, especially when it comes to key processes such as onboarding. Not just the speed of onboarding, which can potentially go up by 80%, but also 40% increased capacity is a great value. You would agree. Now, I'm going to run a simple demo that shows a robot in action creating the necessary user accounts in Microsoft Active Directory. It's a simple yet powerful automation for faster onboarding. So I'm just going to run this demo video. If you don't hear the voice audio, please let me know. John, you there? You're able to hear the voice?
Yes, the
All
voice
right.
okay, loud and clear.
Thanks, John.
Let's look at a simple employees onboarding scenario. In this scenario, we have one organizational unit, the VA, with 3 different groups in it and no users. We have an Excel sheet with 3 new users we'd like to add. Their information is listed in the sheet, including the group that they're supposed to be added to. Let's go ahead and watch how I can automate this process. Alright, looks like our bot was able to create our 3 users in 6 seconds here. Let's go ahead and refresh our AD server. We see we've got 3 new users. Let's go ahead and make sure that their details are filled out here, including the groups that they were supposed to be added to.
So as you can see, there's great value in using robots where the processes are absolutely standard and repetitive so as to increase the productivity of the onboarding process. Sorry. To move on to the next one. So let's look at one of the great examples of onboarding automation. And it is our own story here at UiPath, where a team of bots contributed delivery of the onboarding process. One automation supports a new joiner as an onboarding buddy during the first month at UiPath. Another one supports hiring manager in onboarding someone new into their team. A third automation creates a draft of employment contract on behalf of the data specialist. So we were able to achieve, using these three automations, we were able to achieve a whopping 90% degree of automation in this space, which is awesome here at UiPath. Now, here I would like to quickly point out that UiPath automation platform provides a deep integration with Workday. UiPath Studio comes equipped with a set of pre-packaged activities that allow RPA developers to quickly and easily integrate and build automations with Workday. And you don't have to like do those complex integration programs, don't have to write those complex set of codes integrating your automation with the Workday, because you have those ready-made set of activities that you can leverage, and it's very quick and it's a very rapidly done process. Here is one potential, or should I say, a typical onboarding automation scenario. An unattended robot can be scheduled to run periodically to process new hire reports and create or update records in Workday. It can then create CRM account in Salesforce and log all events, say, in an Excel file. And if required, it can create a ticket in ServiceNow and post an update message to the HR team on, say, a Slack channel. Now, let's look at talent acquisition. So that was HR operations. Here, I'll take a pause and see if you have any questions on the last 3, 4 slides that you have seen. John, please help me here if you can see any questions in the chat window.
Amol, no questions so far.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay. Guys, you can always like send questions in later to me or any of your UiPath contacts if you like. And of course, there are plenty of UiPath forums where you can go and chat as well. So feel free to do that later if you would like to engage with us here. Now, let's look at talent acquisition. The information here reflects the experience of some of our customers. We are looking at reduced manual work by up to 50%, significantly decreased processing time, while also reaching an ROI in a matter of 7 months. That's one of our customers, which is Bain and Company. Uh, Now, I'm going to run a demo video in this space of talent acquisition. So uh, just bear with me. I'm going to click it now, and it's going to run with audio of its own.
Hi, my name is Joe Rumsa, and I'm a sales engineer at UiPath. Today, I'm going to be showing you how to automate the background check process for new hires with UiPath Automation. In this scenario, Brianne, the Talent Acquisition Operations Specialist, oversees the background check process for all new hires. Even though she works with an external provider for the required checks, such as education and employment records, there are multiple cases where the provider cannot verify all those records, and it's up to Brianne to follow up on that. Brianne first receives the background check report from the external provider and determines if there are any records that must be verified. If so, she contacts the new hire, requesting the supporting documents. Once they are provided, she uploads them to the corresponding employee folder and completes the background check. While Brianne is certainly capable of doing this, it does take time, and with the increasing growth of the company, she finds herself spending more and more of her day tracking down documents with less time to spend on connecting with and interviewing potential hires. By leveraging the power of automation, Brianne can offload those repetitive and mundane tasks to a robot, giving her time back to devote to the relationship building she excels at when it comes to discovering talent. In addition to reducing the manual effort involved in these background checks, this automation also minimizes the risk from inaccuracies and is able to keep pace with the increasing transaction volume as the company continues to expand. In this example, Brianne receives a background check report from the external provider, which indicates that the employee needs to provide verification of past employment, including the employer name and location, job title, and dates employed. Now, let's have the robot take care of this. Once the summary report is received, the robot reads it and identifies the item type requiring verification. It extracts the specific data the employee needs to provide that verification for, and it automatically sends an email request to that employee, and then moves the summary report email message out of the way so that Brianne doesn't have to worry about it. A day passes, and the employee has not responded yet. No problem for Brianne. The robot sends a reminder email to the employee that there is pending data which needs to be verified. Finally, once the employee responds with the verification document, the robot uploads the document to a shared workspace and notifies Brianne. She can then confirm that the document is satisfactory and complete the background check. So the robot took care of everything on its own and only brought in Brianne for the very last step to review the provided document, thus completing the background check. Let's take a quick look at how this was accomplished. First, using UiPath integration services, the robot was automatically launched when the summary background check report came in. The robot then opened the report and analyzed it using UiPath document understanding, intelligently identifying and extracting the unverified information. After automatically requesting validation from the employee via email, the robot also entered a record in UiPath Data Service to help track this pending verification. The next day, the robot used this tracker to determine that no response had yet been received and sent a reminder email to the employee. Once the response was received, the robot was again automatically launched via the integration services trigger, uploaded the provided document, updated the tracker in data service, and emailed the talent acquisition specialist. But that's not all. Behind the scenes, the robot also collected information about this particular case to help the talent acquisition team monitor important statistics about the background check process using UiPath Insights. In addition to reporting on its own performance, the robot also provides data to help the team identify commonly missed items, which allows them to implement changes to make the process even more straightforward and efficient for everyone involved. So as we can see, robots can help employees by taking on those repetitive and mundane tasks, accomplish them quickly and without the risk of human error, and most importantly, free up employees to focus on what they do best, exercising their creativity and intelligence. Thank you for taking some time with me to show you how UiPath helps HR teams accelerate benefits from digital transformation.
Right. So that was a great use case for UiPath's intelligent document processing capability. It's you saw UiPath Action Center in play as well there, wherein people or users can validate the information that is extracted by the bots. And one thing I'd like to mention here is that um, bot generally will create action for human intervention only if the confidence level of the extracted information is below the preset threshold, which could be 90%, 95%, could be even 70%. Or in some urgent cases wherein the robot has been instructed to hand it over to people because simply because some of the transactions can be very critical. Either ways, once the humans validate and correct that information in Action Center, that can be then fed back to UiPath AI Center, where we track, maintain, and retrain our machine learning models. So that data can be fed back to your machine learning model so as to improve the accuracy of document processing the next time a new transaction comes in. So just wanted to highlight you that. So it's like machine learning models that learn and get accurate over the period of time as they process more and more documents or content. So moving on, so again, staying in the same area of talent acquisition. Here we have example of one of our customers, health service executive in Ireland, wherein National Personal Records team needed to process over 25,000 cases of background checks. Each background check took 9.5 minutes if it was performed manually. But once we got a robot called Bertie, it executed the same transactions in just 11 seconds with even greater accuracy compared to the manual process. This led to 95% reduction in manual efforts, which you agree is significant. And this is a typical case of document processing again, intelligent document processing and automation, which gives people back their valuable time that they can then use for high value activities. Sorry. Um, Now let's get into employee experience zone. For the employee experience automation cases, reduction in manual errors and faster response time are key. With a mature employee experience strategy, you can achieve as much as 95% reduction in manual errors and great efficiency through process automation. One of our customers here in Australia, they were using like those green screens or mainframes, and they were interacting with them. Users were interacting with those green screens, extracting information or updating information in the mainframes through the mainframe screens as part of their process. Now there are a few more applications in that process to get the process executed. Actually, the process was around refunding the insurance claims, and as part of that, they were interacting with this old and clunky green screen mainframe system, which no one really liked interacting with. So that's where we brought in robots, and all those people who used to talk to those legacy systems. That work was handed over to robots, so that's one less frustrating, boring work people have to do, and that was a great success, and it was a great example in employee experience as well for us. So moving on, there's another customer highlight here. Here is a case study again with UiPath itself. So that's us. Our global mobility team support employees who need travel visas. It is a time-consuming task that requires preparation, such as invitation letter, gathering travel information, gathering employee information, such as passport, etc., etc. UiPath Center of Excellence developed a robot that took over these time-consuming tasks that are requiring you to like a read and process document, that require you to gather information from different sources, and generation of the necessary documents for travel. So that's another great success story that resulted in 80% reduction in manual work and almost 840 hours saved annually for us. So I'm going to run a video on employee experience domain now. So I'll just get it started. Please bear with me.
Josh, an employee of the Alpha company, needs to travel to USA to work on a project with his colleagues. To be able to travel, he needs an invitation letter from the company for his visa application. He does not know what he needs to do to get the letter, but would love to be able to generate it himself. And the global mobility specialist receives all the visa letter requests. For each of them, she needs to request additional information from the requester, to extract data from the passport and from the HR system. She would love to have an automation that could do all these steps for her while she only reviews the results. So, in order to reduce manual effort, minimize risk from inaccuracies, keep pace with transaction volumes, and increase employee experience, we came up with this automation. Josh reaches out to the HR support bot in Slack to find out the steps required for obtaining the visa letter. The bot understands his requests and provides him with the necessary details. Moreover, it asks Josh if he would like to start the process at that moment with its help. So he starts the visa letter generation process. The bot requests details about the trip and a passport copy to generate the letter. Josh easily answers all the questions using the Slack chat. An unattended robot gets triggered in the background and is using intelligent document understanding techniques to extract the data from the passport and provide Josh with a summary of it. Josh validates that all the extracted data is accurate. The robot tells Josh which are the next steps and continues the process in the background as it got all the necessary information from him. The robot connects to the internal HR system, in this case Workday, through a simple API integration and extracts additional information about Josh based on his ID, like his role and employment entity. Then it populates the visa letter template with the data obtained from Josh and the one extracted from the HR system. And in the end, it creates a new action-centered task containing the letter, which needs to be reviewed by Anne, the global mobility specialist. Anne opens the letter, reviews the business purpose for the trip, and validates that it is accurate. When she clicks approve, the task is automatically marked as completed, and the robot gets triggered to apply the signature, save the file in a PDF format, and send it back to Josh. This proves how employees and robots can work together to streamline time-consuming processes. And UiPath can help your HR team to accelerate benefits from the digital transformation. Thanks for watching.
Right. Another great example in employee experience space as to how you can speed up the processes, save time for yourself as the HR department person as well as for employees. So moving on. Let's talk a bit about total rewards. Now that's the last topic here today. Moving to total rewards. For total rewards team, what is most relevant is the ability to run processes without errors, which automations naturally do. And the ability to process faster, large volumes of data is also a key benefit for the HR system. So it's an example of one of our customers who have achieved significant gains thanks to the UiPath business automation platform automations. So I'm going to just run a quick video on total rewards as well here. Just give me a sec.
Today, we'll examine a use case for the HR operations team where they perform frequent checks in the HR system to make sure that the employee data is accurate and updated. In the case where inaccuracies are identified, the team has to resolve them as soon as possible. To allow a faster check across all employee data, the team has created a report in the HR system which identifies the existence of discrepancies of any data based on a set of predefined checks. By using the results of the report, the next steps are to group identified errors into categories and open JIRA tickets for each category. These JIRA tickets are afterwards resolved by the dedicated teams. Our user here is Matt, the People Ops Specialist, who must perform several checks to make sure the employee data from the HR system is accurate, including the check for consistency of compensation-related data, which is the use case we will focus on today. Matt must perform these checks manually and does not have a system in place to track the resolution of any issues that exist. He would love to have an automation that would perform the consistency checks and give him a report with any issues identified per different categories of data. In our case, we'll look at the category for compensation. So here in this demo, we will see the automation download a data integrity report from Workday. It'll read business mapping, which has categories of issues and corresponding columns. It'll then identify employees with data integrity issues for each category. It'll then create a new report for every category that has employees with data integrity issues. It will then raise a JIRA ticket per category, attaching the source report for each ticket. So we start from the bot in the UiPath Assistant, which will run the report in the background. So now the robot has completed its work in the backend. So what will happen now is the robot will go into Workday to extract the report with the data integrity issues identified for all the employees. The checks are done in the background by Workday based on a set of predefined conditions. So here, the bot will add credentials for the report, and then it waits for the download. So now, the robot opens the report. So here's the report of all the employees. The robot will then go to a SharePoint where we have the business mapping for issues that we need to process. This is a predefined business mapping to identify the categories of issues. The columns are the issues from a specific category. So here we can see the category of compensation. We have CO grade profile, CO salary plan. So we'll focus on those. So next, the robot will extract details about employees that have data integrity issues on the columns related to the compensation category. So the robot will go back to the initial report it downloaded and identify the columns it extracted from the previous step. It identifies the rows here which have an actual value for the column. So it will only keep these rows which have a value in at least one of those columns. It will also count the number of errors or values encountered on the selected columns. So in the backend, the robot will create a new report based on this data, and it will identify the data integrity issues. It will copy the details for the employee record identified with issues in the compensation category, and it will create a new Excel file with pre-existing columns. We'll see this in a second when we open the Jira ticket. So the next step is for the robot to log into Jira and to open a ticket for the category that has employees with data integrity issues. There will be one ticket for each category that has been processed by the robot. Here we log into the ticket and see the report that the bot created. This is the report with employees of issues we have identified in the previous step. The ticket will then be processed by the people operations team to track the resolution of the issues. And this completes our flow. Here, we can see how employees and robots work together to make sure that data in different systems is accurate. And we can leverage automation to remove any inaccuracies so the HR team can focus their time elsewhere. UiPath helps HR teams benefit from digital transformation and improves productivity of the people operations teams. Thank you.
Yeah, so that's a great use case in the benefits space where you can use robots to ensure data integrity across your systems. So moving on, so that's pretty much that covers our four areas. First, we looked at HR operations, we looked at talent acquisition, we looked at employee experience, and then finally at total reward. So, okay, I mean, a large number of our customers that have already started to automate their HR processes, and they're using our UiPath Business Automation platform in to do so, of course. Some have done a limited number of automations, others are still exploring, while others want to go to a larger scale. So they have started small, but they have started wanting to build and scale their automations. Moreover, many of these clients have views or are they interested to use automations in other areas of business as well. Now, finally, back to the honeycomb model. Before I finish, honeycomb model gives you a holistic view of automation across the organization. Doing automation in one line of business, such as HR, might trigger effect in other lines of business as well. Remember that HR is only the part of this honeycomb. For instance, HR automation may be linked to some of the activities as well that are hosted in, say, finance line of business. It is important to be aware of that, and the success you achieve in HR process automation can spread across the organization, and you can actually become the pioneers who started this all. So that's my last slide. On that note, I would like to end my presentation. I would like to check if there are any questions you have, and happy to take those questions over the next 5 minutes. Uh, John, are there any questions in the chat window by any chance?
Amar, no question so far.
Okay. All right. Okay. So I think we are just on time. Sorry, I'm 3 minutes 3 minutes over the time limit. Just a reminder here that uh, as it is already published on a community event page, that if you have done automation in HR space, do inform us about it. Do write an email to us about it. Just a 4 5 lines. The email address is tony.nerd@uipath.com. The email address is there in the community page as well. Just a reminder for that you are very likely to win a $50 gift voucher if you send us some information around the automations that you have performed in your in HR space, and or you can also write to us about what you intend to do in future, what automations you would like to put in place in future. Even if you can let us know about that, you're likely to win a $50 voucher. So please do send us that information. And on that note, I will then end this session. Thank you for attending. I really appreciate you attending and spending time with us.
Amo?